Hi, this is M6JKA, and today we're going to look at the Yaesu FT2D handheld transceiver, which is basically a digital fusion radio from Yaesu, and it's one of their newest yet, and it's been on pre-order in the UK for quite a long time. I think the same case goes for the rest of Europe as well. But basically, we got a call from Martin Lynch yesterday to say it was in stock. And lo and behold, today it has arrived with us. So very excited to be one of the first to get hold of it. And we're going to sort of do a quick video to show the radio and initial impressions and everything else. So yeah, first thing we did was obviously get it out of the box and take a quick look at it all around. And we noticed it's very very thin, very sort of slim and compact radio. Right kind of up there with the ID51 from Icon's handheld D-Star radio. So yeah, it's actually a little bit smaller than the ID51 in what I would say is, in length it's smaller, but it's probably a little bit wider and possibly a bit fatter as well. Let's have a look. I haven't got the ID51 here because I've actually just left it in the car, but here's a DMR radio, which is very small as well. And if you put the two side by side, you can see how small it is. If you know how small these are are really tiny, these radios. But basically, that sort of gives you an idea of the size of it. So very nice, package. And the other thing we noticed obviously as well, you turn it straight on, and the screen, it's a very nice sort of touch screen there. And it's got a backlight. The backlight kind of turns off. You just see it do it there. It kind of goes into a dim battery saving state very quickly. So I think that's quite a good feature. The display itself is very similar to the ID51, but I'd say the only thing I would say is really that the display with the backlight on, it's not the clearest display in the world, but it's by no means no means bad. It's just it can look a little bit washy, but it's not really a problem. I think it's because when you're just staring at Retina iPhones and high resolution screens in the smartphone world, I think you probably notice when you go back to an LCD display, but it's full touch screen. In the daylight, we tried it in the daylight outside. It's fantastic. It really does come into its own when you're outside. So I think that's really really but the major pro on the screen is that it works very good in the daylight. So yeah, when you first turn it on, it asks you for your call sign. So you put your call sign in, and that's mainly to configure the call sign for the digital side of things. I haven't got anything Fusion to test this with, which is going to be the next excuse to probably buy something. But basically, I'm going to try and find a repeater when I'm out and about to experiment with this radio. But aside from that, so yeah, you put your call sign in, and it sets your digital call sign. Now, you have to also set your APRS call sign in the radio as well if you want to use the APRS functions. So that's one thing I kind of got stuck on, because I put my call sign in and I thought, well, I don't really need to do that again because we've for APRS, because it's already in the radio. But you do have to put it in for the APRS thing as well for the functions. So yeah, we got started with that, and then you have to sort of work out that you to get into the menus, you basically have to hold this display button down. Then you get a pretty advanced menu that comes up there. So yeah, I just basically went for a few of these functions to sort of set up different things like your display brightness and contrast, things like that. Tone squelch as well. You can set in here under the signaling menu. So you've got a whole bunch of stuff in there. It's got a lot of features, this radio. It really is pretty advanced, but very straightforward to use because of the touchscreen. So that's quite good. So as far as APRS goes, setting up APRS, which is kind of one of the main reasons which I got this radio, you know, to replace my old. Well, I kind of didn't have any normal APRS. I've been doing a lot of DPRS with D-Star, but I hadn't got any APRS, true APRS kit. I used to have a VX8, which I used for that, but I did get rid of that. And so the reason, you know, for one of the main reasons for getting this was to use APRS on a nice touchscreen with all the modern features. So it looks really, really good so far. I mean, what I've done so far with it. So really, to get APRS going, all you need to do is put your call sign in the APRS section. So APRS, you see, you've got a lot of menu options there. That APRS pop-up's quite nice because it will shows a sort of pop-up window with the APRS information as it's being received. So that can get annoying, but you can turn that off. Anyway, go down here and you see call sign APRS. So you just basically go in there. And then you just hit that, and you can put your call sign, you know, in quite easily using that keyboard, and then hit your back button, and you go back out, and you go back out to the menus, and it's, you know, very, very logically sort of laid out. So yeah, aside from doing that, you have to turn the APRS modem on as well. I believe I'm doing this from what from memory. You have to just turn that on in the functions. Very easy to see. So you can see that pop-up feature I mentioned there. It just basically just fills the screen with information that it's received, which is quite nice. Yeah, so you have to turn the APRS modem on. Once you've done that, then you're good to go. All you've got to do really is just make sure you're on the dual band and you've got the frequency right for your sort of local APRS you know, frequency, which in the UK it's 144.800, and most of Europe as well, I believe. So yeah, very straightforward there. To set a frequency in the VFO mode, you literally just touch on the frequency and type the frequency in. So you can just put in, you know, anything into here, and it will literally just you know, change the frequency. Very cool. A lot like the you know, the Icon 7100 and 5100, where you can just, you know, tap a number in. You don't realise how useful that is until you haven't got it, and you have to do everything with a dial. But you know, basically that's a very welcome feature. One thing that I was a tiny bit disappointed with is the fact that you haven't got any memories in the radio stored, basically pre-stored. I mean, I believe it's got about, it can hold about 1,000, but you know, there's no UK repeaters or anything in it as standard, which I think, you know, these days, you know, we kind of really expect. You know, what with the ID51, I've got a shaky hand here, I'm just trying to change the hands. Yeah, what with the ID51, you know, it has all the UK repeaters stored inside it, or at least most of them, and also the digital ones as well. With this radio, maybe they haven't just got there yet with it, but you know, I think it would be good if they could, you know, add the repeaters at least, you know, to get you going, because I'm going to have to put in all my local repeaters and probably more, you know, and it's going to be quite easy on this screen and on this touch screen, but all the same, you know, it should really come with it. And you've got the SD card slot in here as well, up there, which I haven't put an SD card in there yet, but basically you've got that to store data on, which is good. I think you can store pictures and stuff for digital modes. So yeah, that's kind of where we're up to with it. But I took it out of the road, and I mean, the radio itself came with about 2 bars of battery. You know, that's what it kind of shipped with as normal. They sort of normally ship the batteries about kind of 30% or something, because that's how they travel best apparently. This sort of chemistry, but I put it on charge, you know, briefly, thought I'd give it a top up before I went out walkies with it, and you know, it probably added about a bar in about 45 minutes. So, you know, I think this is going to take a while to charge. That being said, when I did go out for about a 45-minute dog walk with it, and I was using APRS beaconing, and I was kind of calling out on 145 500 and the calling channel, and testing repeaters by manually just typing in the number of the repeaters and setting the tone and everything else. Which again, you can do that whilst you're just walking around. It's that straightforward to do. And I lost about 1 bar battery, so I think it's going to take a while to charge, but you're going to get a long time out of it. The run time is going to be good. The battery is pretty substantial. I think it's I can't remember the capacity actually, but I think it's more than the ID51, and that works. That's got a good life on it. I mean, the technology these days is good, so it doesn't lose too much capacity. Just on standby. GPS, we've kind of the first initial fix took a while to get, but now it's very fast. I think that's normal for kind of when you first get a GPS receiver. It has to find out really where it is, and then from then on it's pretty quick. You can hit this display button, you get almost like a sort of digital compass. You can just hit that. I've gone back out of there, but basically, yeah, you've got a sort of compass there, and then once you hit that again, you get your GPS information. Now that's really neat for nerds like me who love to see the GPS information. Coming from the little receiver inside, fantastic. That's really good. So I mean, the fix pretty much, I turned the radio on about 30 seconds before I started this video, and it had a fix by the time I started the video. So you can see it's on par with good quality GPS receivers out there. And you've also got some sort of basic navigation functions as well, I believe, which will navigate you to a point using the compass. So that's something that the ID51 hasn't really got. That is pretty useful. So we're going to sort of play around with that as well, and see how we go. So yeah, we've kind of touched on a few things there. What else was there? We just noticed the audio on the speakers very good. We just need to get out this menu here. So generally, just by pushing this display button here, you can just cycle through the modes and stuff like that. Yeah, so we tried a few things. I haven't actually sort of got around to managing to speak to anyone yet on this radio, because I think when I popped out, it's a weekday and it was probably about lunchtime, and around here there's not too much activity. So maybe in the evening it will pick up a bit, and I'll be able to have a QSO with someone and see what the audio sounds like. But I did manage to get into the same repeater, and get a K-tone back from that repeater, analog repeater, which is a good sort of 18 miles away, and that's using the standard antenna that comes with the radio, which is actually slightly smaller than some of the other handheld radios that I've got, but it seems to work pretty well. So yeah, this, you can see here, you've got the screen that pops up which shows you your GPS information. You can from here, from there you can basically get more information about that station, or do things like send messages and stuff. If you hit this button here, you've got another menu which will show you, you can transmit a beacon, you can start a band scope, which so we're getting a bit of local interference here. The band scope's cool. That's something that's you can't do on some of these other radios, and that works pretty well. So you can get there, and basically, it's incredibly feature packed, this radio, and one for the proper enthusiasts and the geeks out there. It won't take long to sort of work out where you are with it. It won't take long to find your way around it if you know how to sort of use a computer or anything else. You can switch modes here. Again, I haven't got any way of testing the digital yet, so I'm gonna have to get out there and try and find a repeater somewhere. One of the other things I did try, which is really interesting, is you've got a wideband receiver on this. Now, I just thought, oh, what the heck, I'll just give it a go, and I'll just type in, let's just put in like a 4 meter frequency and see what happens. And there you go, it comes up and it's on FM. So it's pretty good. I hadn't had a chance to sort of test it, but I'm pretty sure that is doing what it's saying it's doing. In fact, what I could do here is let's just head over to this radio and just see what's going to do. I've got it set up on the 4 meter call-in channel, so perhaps you could use this to receive. Let's just have a look and see if we get anything on there. M6JKA call-in. This is M6JK, call-in CQ and listening for any calls. Not the best CQ call in the world, but I don't know if you saw the signal meter go up. It definitely worked there. Something came up, so we'll see how sensitive it actually is if we go out with it and see if we can pick up any stations. This is M6JKA testing. This is M6JKA testing and listening for any calls. Seems to be doing what it's saying it's doing. So that is pretty impressive that you can do that on this radio. I didn't realise you could do that. So that's news to me. It will also do all the shortwave frequencies as well. Although you've only got sort of AM capability. So there we go. There's the FT2D initial kind of look at, and it is a really interesting bit of kit. I've kind of commented on some videos where people say, you can get cheaper radios, like the Bayer things, and all these others are available now, and you can get them for £10 and stuff like this. Great. I mean, we all like that. I really like the fact that you can get a radio for very cheap, and and you can get people into the hobby with this sort of this cheap kind of radio, and they work fantastically well. Haven't got a problem at all. It's really when people say, these radios are too expensive. Again, these radios are expensive, but they do what what they say they do, and you do kind of get what you pay for. When it comes to digital radios, obviously there's a lot to kind of include in a radio, and something like this is digital. It's got 2 bands, wideband receiver and an APRS transceiver built into it as well. So for the kind of 300, and I think it's just below 380 quid, I think 370 or something like that. I can't remember now, but basically for that sort of that kind of price, you are getting what you're paying for, in my opinion anyway. It's the D-Star stuff is sort of similarly priced, but you're obviously kind of getting a good radio with features in there. So this is probably another conversation, but I've now got DMR. I've now tested DMR, D-Star, and this is obviously Fusion. So we'll see how Fusion gets on against it. I really like the look of it because it's got some very interesting features, and it's very different to D-Star, and it's sort of linking, and the fact that you can send sort of files and things directly from radios. So things like that are quite exciting to me. DMR is another sort of kettle of fish, which for me at the moment it's only really impressed me on on audio quality. Audio quality is very good, and probably better than D-Star. And text messaging, things like that, very robust, very robust system. But that being said, it's quite limited because you have to use software to control the radios. There are other radios out which can do front panel programming, but in my opinion, you can't beat a good old amateur radio HT, where you can really get into the nuts and bolts of the device and use it out in the field as a proper tool, which this is what this does. Anyway, sorry for waffling. Anyone knows me on the radio, I do exactly the same thing. But hopefully it's given you a chance to sort of, have a look at, one of the most, what I think is one of the most cutting edge radios, out there at this time, now available. So we'll carry on playing around, and we'll see sort of, where we get, and, more opinions. So I'm sure anyone wants to leave comments below, we'll try and answer any questions, as soon as I can. And get outside and enjoy the hot weather. It's now July the 2nd on 2015, and currently about 29 degrees outside, so I shouldn't be stuck in the shack really. Anyway, that's it for now, and we'll catch you again. 73s from M6JKA.